Have you ever considered what would happen if your job was suddenly gone? You're made redundant, maybe because of technology or other things that we'll talk about. This isn't a distant concern. It's happening right now. And you can't say because you're an accountant, you're immune. In recent months, PwC, EY, KPMG, Deloitte, big software providers like Intuit, they're announcing layoffs, and it's reshaping the accounting thread. We're going to go into this in this episode of the Accounting Influencers podcast, where we unpack the trends that are shaking up the accounting profession and help you as a leader, as an influencer, to navigate these shifts with confidence. I'm your host and industry ally, Rob Brown, bringing you these insights to elevate and influence your career. And today we're diving into why these layoffs are happening, what they mean for accounting professionals, and how you can use this knowledge to position yourself better, stay relevant, stay competitive in evolving profession. So let's get straight to the facts. PwC announced plans to cut 600 jobs in the UK due to what they said, weaker demand for advisory services. Deloitte's also made cuts. They let go of 250 employees in the UK after several rounds of restructuring. EY made headlines. They laid off 3,000 workers in the US. KPMG have been quietly reshuffling, trimming parts of its workforce to align with current market realities. Outside the Big Four, Intuit, the big software powerhouse behind QuickBooks, TurboTax, laid off 1,800 employees. Reorganization, AI investments. So what's going on behind all of this? Well, global economic environment is volatile. Firms are facing reduced demand for traditional services, some consulting, some compliance, downward pressure on those fees. Clients want more strategic tech-enabled solutions, real-time insights, predictive capabilities. Accountants are not always best placed to deliver stuff like that. So we're starting to see that AI is coming into these decisions, isn't it? The integration of AI, automation, it's at the core. So what used to be done by entry-level accountants, data entry, audit sampling, tax preparation, it's now being done by the advanced AI tools. And firms know that to stay competitive, they've got to reallocate resource, hire talent that aligns with the tech-driven culture and meets increasing client expectations. So there's shedding jobs, there's a shift in focus. Intuit plan to rehire the same number of people as they let go, but in roles that support their strategic push to AI. That's what we've got to dwell on for a moment. So it's not that they don't want people, they need people, but in the right role. So they've got to let some go that are not equipped. That's got a message for us. But new opportunities are also emerging, but with different skill requirements. This is relevant for us as accountants because you might think you're immune to all of these market forces, but some crucial insights here. Number one, there's evolving skill retirements. Number one, there's evolving skill requirements. The day of resting solely on your accounting technical expertise is gone. You've got to be good at technology. You've got to be good at data analysis. You've got to be familiar with AI. You've got to interpret data, tell the stories behind the numbers, advise on strategy, add value beyond the number crunching to set you apart. Number two, shift in service demand. We're moving away from traditional compliance work. Yes, more advisory focused services, but that includes risk management, financial forecasting, financial interpretations, future planning, strategic consulting. Technically strong accountants are commonplace. We are seeing a demand for accountants who can pivot to the higher value services. They're the ones who will be in demand. They're the ones that will be difficult to lay off. They're the ones that will hold their jobs, or if they do get laid off, that will get rehired a lot faster. Job market dynamics. More seasoned professionals are entering the market because these people that are laid off by big four firms, what are they going to do? They're all flooding the market now, and they're going to add to the talent pipeline. So there's competition for new roles. That's going to heat up, and it presents opportunities for accounting firms mid-tier to attract this talent, which hopefully has diverse skills and experiences. So if you are one of those that's laid off, seeking off new opportunities, you've got adaptability, hopefully. You've got technical proficiency. You should have. If you're listening to this show, this is what we're telling you, that you need to stay competitive and relevant. And if you are mid-tier firms hiring in this marketplace, there should be more out there to choose from, given the sheer number of layoffs from these big four firms. Fourth thing we've got to think about here is that continuous learning is a must. You cannot rely on the skills that got you to where you are right now. They say technical skills get redundant in 12 to 18 months. That's how fast this is going. The pace of change is not slowing down. Data analytics, AI integration, prompt engineering, emerging technologies, these are essential in your professional development. So if you're just focusing on technical stuff and not the technological stuff, you're going to get left behind. And you're also going to need the soft stuff, the social side of things, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, because that allows you to be a thought leader, to weave that narrative behind the numbers. It's a fact that firms are more likely to retain, promote employees that demonstrate this commitment to learning and continuous development outside the technical requirements of their job. So you've got all your clients to look after. You've got your CPE, CPD to keep on top of, to maintain your accreditations. But beyond that, it's discretionary effort for sure, because it's what you're doing outside the mandatory stuff. But you've got to stay on top of all of this. The fifth element of this, the implication, is the pressure for thought leadership. And this is what I love about this pivot, because it's forcing us all to be better. The higher up you go in an accounting firm, the more you're expected to have strong, authoritative, declarative thoughts on relevant topics. It's not enough to know it. You've got to get it out there. So that's demonstrating your capability, your expertise, and your personal brand. Technically competent accountants are everywhere. But those that actively build their personal brand, they speak out, they share insights, these are the ones that are going to stand out. These are the ones that inoculate themselves against market economics and talent layoffs. So you've got to build that culture of thought leadership throughout your firm. It's going to create brand advocates, brand ambassadors, and it's great for the people individually. It's great for the firm as a brand. The thing that interests me in all of this is what's going to happen to the accountants that get let go. If you're impacted by layoffs, you've got some career paths. You might go into industry, from public practice to internal accounting, finance roles with industries that align with your skills. You might have some specializations, forensic accounting, ESG, cybersecurity. These open doors to all kinds of opportunities, particularly in the tech world. And AI will deliver some of this, but they still need you. You might look at entrepreneurial ventures, starting your own consulting firm, specialized practice, capitalize on your experience and tap into the emerging landscape. I met an accountant recently I'm doing some work with, Chris Johnson. He only does audit for 401ks. That's very specific, but I love it. And he's one of the fastest growing firms in North America right now. Small, but fastest growing. Why? Because he's leaning in to specialisms and using his expertise for very specific things. So what do these layoffs mean for the talent pipeline generally? There's been a lot spoken about the talent pipeline and what's coming up for accounting firms. Well, for the younger professionals coming in, early career, you're looking at whether accounting is a stable career. If you've got a perception that redundancies are out there, it's no longer the safe bet that you thought. It might mean mentorship gaps, so layoffs, mentorship gaps. So layoffs mean that senior experienced professionals leave the firm. It creates gaps in knowledge transfer, skill transfer, mentorship. That has a ripple effect to all junior staff with their continued professional development. Who's going to train and mentor them? There's also L&D shifts, training development shifts. Technology is driving change. Programs are going to evolve, external and internal. Educational establishments, they're going to need to put more emphasis on tech skills, strategic thinking, advisory services, AI. That's for the professional governing bodies, institutes, associations. And what about the leaders navigating this change? This is for you here. If you're in a leadership position, and most are, this is a disruptive period that's challenge and opportunity. Here's how you might navigate it. Number one, embrace AI as a partner. It's here to stay. We can't get around it now. But if you can see it as a tool to empower rather than replace your team, you've got a chance. And leaders that know how to show their teams about integrating AI, that's great productivity, great quality. You've got to promote a culture of lifelong learning with your team. You've got to make sure they are all pursuing continuous education, certification in emerging areas. That's what a forward-thinking firm does, because then those people can adapt and thrive. And as you as a leader, you've got to exemplify that. You've got to show them the way. You've also got to be transparent about layoffs. They're hard. Your firm might be laying off too, or readjusting, recalibrating its workforce. So some empathy, some transparency, maintains trust and morale. You owe your people that as a leader, whether they're going or staying. People need to know in these periods of disruption that they're valued, that they are wanted, even during periods of change. I just want to pause for a moment and tell you something I've got going on as a podcast host, but to help you promote your influence and your thought leadership, because you may well be expected to create thought leadership pieces, expert opinion, columns, articles for your firm, or maybe you just know it's important to build your personal brand and showcase that expertise, but you don't have the time, the ideas, the writing skills. How about this? Imagine if I interviewed you for 30 minutes every month. I'll guide you in a relaxed conversation about some of the topics you're passionate about, the areas you want to build a reputation in, the subjects that you want to be known for. And my team will turn that conversation into a few exceptional thought leadership pieces for your LinkedIn profile, your firm's website, your social channels, create some video snippets for you. How good would that be? How much time and effort would that save you? Is your marketing department going on at you to create thought leadership pieces? If that sounds like it would help you, it would save you a lot of time, it's a solution you may have been looking for, I'm making space over the next few months for a few accounting clients to help accelerate their reputation and thought leadership. So reach out, connect to me on LinkedIn, send me a message. We can have a conversation. Right, now some final thoughts on this podcast. We're talking about the big four layoffs, software layoffs. It's changing the makeup of the talent pipeline. It's shifting the economic forces, and it's happening fast. We've got to look at increasing client demands, technological innovation, international economic forces. Stark reminders that this is a massive period of transformation. As a leader, as an accounting professional, your key to navigating all of this change and staying relevant, staying in employment, having choices, is all on your ability to adapt, upskill, lead with transparency, lead with empathy. You've got to not just resist these changes, but proactively guide people through them. That means you've got to know what's going on. And this show is all about that. The future belongs to firms and individuals that embrace continuous learning. They keep on top of things like this, and they're the ones that are going to help others thrive. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Accounting Influencers podcast. Hopefully these insights have been helpful to you. We want to keep you on top of the news as it happens, but mostly as it pertains to your role as an influencer and authority in your firm. Have a great day. Keep on rocking and be influential. You've got a lot of people out there that need what you have to offer.